was 1960 when I first heard about this concept of animal communication. And in those days, Beatrice Lydecker was the first person I'd ever heard of who was very famous for animal communication.
Uh-huh.
And she was pretty amazing because we had, one of my clients had a horse who'd had a fall on a jump and was lame. And they couldn't figure out the lameness. So no vet could figure out what was wrong. So I said, well, let me call Beatrice Lydecker on the phone. So I called her, and she said, well, put the horse to the phone to the horse. I have no idea how we did it in those days. You don't have to do that anymore. But because you can do it with a picture or you know, parapsychology, right?
Well, telepathy.
So anyway, she said, well, you know what? That horse had a jump pole hit the horse in the shoulder. If you take it to the vets at Davis, tell them to go in 9 inches and told us exactly where to go, they will find a pocket of pus that is making that horse lame.
Oh.
And they did.
Oh, my.
That was pretty interesting.
That would have been an eye-opener.
And then another situation, I can't remember why I called her on this one. I mean, we're talking like many, many years ago, right? What was the, oh, I know. It was somebody who had bought a bull, a very expensive breeding bull, and he wasn't doing his job. He wasn't potent enough, he wasn't interested. It was a very strange deal. Yeah. So we said, well, wait a minute, what's going on? You know, of course, they'd done all the vet things to check this bull, nothing. Okay, so I call her, and she said, you know what I see is that before they sold this bull, he was out in an area where he could see other animals, and it was really interesting, and there was a red dog that he connected to, but now he's kept in a dark place and he can't see anything and he's depressed. Oh. And that was the truth. And they changed the place and it made a difference. So that was pretty interesting, you know, after my grandfather's story. So over the years, if I have an issue with an animal, I ask somebody else if it's an animal close to me. If somebody comes to me wanting to connect, how does the animal feel? I use kinesiology. And I teach people to use their own body to get a yes and a no. And they can make a direct connection with the universe to ask about the animal, or they can ask the animal how they're feeling. But you have to be really careful about this because, you know, you have to be very respectful of this. And so it's, I just love this concept of how we can connect with our animals.
And you referred earlier to cell-to-cell communication. When you do the touch, it's as if your cells at a cellular level are communicating with the animal.
Yes, and how I got to that concept, it was in 1976 in February. I was in the 4-year professional Feldenkrais training at the Humanistic Psychology Institute with Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais, and he had given us a number of books that we were to read and study. And one of the books was called Man on His Nature by Sir Charles Sherrington. And now, actually, on Amazon, you can actually get them for a reasonable price. A few years ago, it was like $136 for a copy. I still have my original.
Okay. So
I'm sitting in Movenpick restaurant in Stuttgart, Germany. I remember exactly where I was sitting. And I read a statement that said that every cell in the body knows its function within the body and its function within the universe. Now, I normally don't say that second part because it's hard enough to get the first part, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, wait a minute. It was after the first year of my Feldenkrais training with Moshe Feldenkrais, and we had watched him do just make miraculous changes in a person that summer who had a stroke. And but we didn't yet know how to do this. And so when I read this statement by Sherrington, every cell in the body knows its function within the body, I thought, whoa, wait a minute. When I don't know how to do this amazing Feldenkrais work yet, all I have to do is say, cells, just talk to this body and remind their cells for their potential for ideal function. Mm. And that's how I started seeing the body as a collection of cells. And that's how I started connecting with animals in another way.